programs the pre-stages of those events so that characters and surrounding spaces of every changeable moment can align with regarded speeds, which concerns motioning durations. So for resurrection-related matters, the Life Combiner systematically tracks and finds those by using its reversal calendar based on already existing calendar systems. The Life Combiner has the ability to contain an outer bodily spirit for its afterlife setting by keeping a tracer fixed on any bio-life signature, and then it encases that precise biosignature within an aligned containment field that actually keeps the life essence alive. The Life Combiner does so because it fashions a compatible housing for a departed being, which is attuned to that bioenergy signature or reading. The Life Combiner certainly contains the entirety of an intangible spirit by also trapping a spirit with its compiled abundance of life experiences or memories, which pretty much make up a soul. And this reality device does so because it records all of the processed data of individuals, which includes biosignatures and ideas, and then the combiner simply merges them of a prior bodily containment. The Life Combiner can create afterlife realities for those deceased beings by setting outer dimensional programs which exist outside of beings' previous existences. The Life Combiner makes these separate dimensions based on those individuals' wants, needs, desires, and preferences, as well as their unwanted dislikes, fears, and irritations. So these afterlives are shaped when this device adds up the sum totals of living experiences. This Life Combiner also has a function that could fabricate an already invisible spirit, ghost, entity, and presence. First, with a mere push of a button, the Combiner scanners does a probing of the surrounds as normal readings are processed with any abnormality readings. And the scanners also process in the readings of its programmed biosignatures of living creatures. Next, if any abnormality is found, this Life Combiner places a tracer on that particular signature or impressionable. Then the combiner begins a materialization stage in which a determined size, height, color, and weight is fabricated based on the trace emission of the form in question. This combiner ray has a scanner function which determines the complete makeup of any target, because this device gains an instant bio reading by aiming it at someone, and the scanner profile instantly relays its findings to the chosen set in motions. This Life Combiner certainly has a user dematerialize and rematerialize function that sends the target into an intangible state and then back to the known perceived tangible. Now, after a dematerial shooting, a target is certainly set into a non-corporeal, just like a disembodied spirit, and this Life Combiner can even keep a location lock on an invisible target because its ray conformer places a residual energy tracer or signature on the dematerialized presence. This Life Combiner could even return a deceased one back to life by conducting a residual backtrack find. It simply will gather up the DNA of that deceased, which can be found on personal items such as clothes, blood, person, and motioning surrounds, where residual traces of that presence may still remain. Then the Life Combiner will arrange that captured residual for a setting to a stage of development. Oh, and this Life Combiner can isolate or differentiate between other types of DNAs. The combiner processors know how to manipulate their contact materials or substances because biomechanics can rearrange or conform to a particular designation by way of augmentation, realignment, transference, and developmental. So this life combiner determines no biostructure as a permanent placement or fixture. If a bodily conform is completely destroyed, then this combiner will implement a total rebuild from DNA samples as well as program composites of a departed, which are visual depictions, images, or photos that show how the patient once looked. The life combiner can certainly restore his or her very soul to the body by simply imprinting every familiar thing, notion, and fact which pertains directly to the restored being, such as name, parents, and birthplace, and these familiars will help restart an identity of a previous established. So in order for this to work, this combiner will send signals into the brain which might include thousands of impressionables, and these particular impressions will appear on a patient's mind like a motion film or picture does. And this process takes place as the consciousness draws near to full awareness. This combiner even sets for vocal impressions where the patient would hear familiar voices to double the effectiveness of its soul conformity. This combiner also restores a body its soul rightfully by resetting the mind's brainwave frequency to its exact previous entirety. So the restored mind will simply take back up where it left off at, and the restoration process will result in a thorough accounting of a mind's set language and running timed frequency of a brain during its previous past, based on of an initial DNA scan that determines every functioning aspect of a bio-machine device. This life combiner certainly has a ray setting that dematerializes a being by displacing the matter from the perceptive motioning without removing the entirety away from that equation. The rematerial function can reset a target to its initial fabrication by reversing all of the combiner's stage effects with regard to this particular process, which left those in the dematerialization. This life combiner could even restore or return a deceased presence back to the land of the living. The first way involves the combiner's DNA scans and memory inputs of any person, being, or thing, so that this life combiner can infuse a collected memory with the fabricated DNA of a reanimated person. And the life combiner obtains these essentials by scanning the body for a complete determinate makeup, and through a brain scan which stores those deciphered readings of language for a memory transplant. And furthermore, this miracle maker machine of minds has a medical remedy function which guarantees any type of cure for every ill condition. And the remedy setting also offers an age reduction. For a cure, the patient's problematic or illness is pinpointed by the combiner scanners, and then the ailment spots are highlighted as the patient hangs in a non-corporeal stasis. Next, this life combiner replaces what is seen as bad data with a more correct functioning, while the patient is seen in its hologram intangible emission. Oh, the hologram is possible because the combiner shapes a glowing image on any caught by its dematerial beam. The hologram emitter then leaves a visual representation for the ghost-like person. This hollow emission actually works best because it connects to the residual biosignature of a captured spirit, and in doing so, it maintains a light integrity of the demoleculized, or the presence would be unseen without it. Now, the medical remedy function activates the age reduction while the patient is in a visible, glowing intangible, or a non-corporeal representation too. It then quite simply resets an acquired form to its previous stage of its development, because age is really a number which could be sequenced with a bodily for countdowns, because the body is also time and matter set at a rate of speed, so that rate has options for forward and reverse. The life combiner has the functions of the replacement timer, which looks like a computer displaying every interpretation of time when active, and its motioning finder is attuned to its timing displays, which are visible on the digital screen. This device also has a 3D virtual reality integration for up-close observations, and its optic eyepieces provide that necessity. This timer displays motions as airspeeds that are traceable or trackable. The Life Combiner also has the functions of the reality setter, which looks like a birthing matrix of a mechanical design for cosmic birthing purposes or formation. And this birthing device, a processor, sensory, situator, and sizer, is the causing, affecting, and resulting of its realities. This combiner has outer ports for focus matter situates, which positions them somewhere. The Life Combiner certainly has functions of the reviver of life, which looks like an encased medical chamber that has a laying area, and it has a metallic and clear frame. This particular resurrection chamber is about 9 feet long, but its medical reliefs can restore any size animal to life. This combiner certainly has a pressure-tight seal for biocontainment and resurrection purposes. The Life Combiner is also equipped with a rechargeable power pack, and it simply plugs into any wall circuit. Oh, and the full charge gives the user at least a couple of hours to use this combiner device without needing it to be plugged in. Now, I must give credit to a very special, remarkable lady who was responsible for the first page of this device, in question. So I just wanted to describe many of the functions of my combiner device as your global friendly medic. So thanks again for tuning in. My name is Corey Gerard, and be blessed.